Monotony. It comes in all shapes and sizes. Dull, tedious, just plain boring. But what is this? A contender, perhaps? Something unboring by the looks of it. Jabs right at dull, an uppercut to tedium, something that keeps you on your toes, keeps your head on a swivel, a knockout punch to your old, boring workouts. Welcome to Fight Camp.
Tickets now. Psycho Killer is coming. For you. I'm a twisted writer of 7 and 8mm, and the producers of Barbarian, and a producer of Weapons.
You're him.
On February 20th, meet your new nightmare.
Open the gates.
Psycho Killer. Get tickets now.
Yeah, see, I ain't ever been betrayed by an enemy. That shit is only ever come from them saying friend to me. They soul is black, soaking up all of my backup energy. I feel the drain through all the pain, depletes in its entirety. It's piracy, and any thought of reconciling blind to me. You were my people that I chose, you were my family, and didn't realize what you had, your bad need clarity. Because respect is something earned, you can't use bribery. You thought I was a sheep and I would fall in line, but a real bitch tell it like it is, that's facts, this here's my time. Y'all out here out your ever-loving mother minds. You had no idea the kind of storm of shit you would find. If you forgotten, we can go ahead and press rewind. Receipts is never something from me, never fall behind. I didn't come at no one crazy, you showed your behind. I never come for folks, but for you I'll make the time. Bitch.
same exact thing.
You might want to answer that phone. It sounds pretty important.
I met this girl at the gym a couple months ago, and she was showing me this app, No Strings. Basically for people who want to get a little sneaky link with no attachments.
I think my wife cheated on me, bro.
What the fuck are you doing here?
I've been calling you all day.
Well, cheers to No Strings. No strings.
No strings, no strings, no strings, no strings, no strings, no strings. What? Yeah, see, I ain't ever been betrayed by an enemy. That shit is only ever come from them saying friend to me. They soul is black, soaking up all of my backup energy. I feel the drain through all the pain, depletes in its entirety. It's piracy, and any thought of reconciling's blind to me. You were my people that I chose, you were my family. And didn't realize what you had, your bad need clarity. Because respect is something earned, you can't use bribery. You thought I was a sheep and I would fall in line. But a real bitch tell it like it is, that's fastest, here's my dime. Y'all out here out your ever-loving mother minds. You had no idea the kind of storm of shit you would find. If you forgotten, we can go ahead and press rewind. Receipts is never something from me, never fall behind. I didn't come at no one crazy, you showed your behinds. I never come for folks, for you, I'll make the time. Bitch. What? Yeah, see, I ain't ever been betrayed by an enemy.
Master Yoda, I am. And listen, you must to hulazoo.com.
The movie, music, news, television promos, trailers and videos used in this production are protected by the Fair Use Act. Section 107 of the Copyright Act. 1. The purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of commercial nature or is for nonprofit educational purposes. 2. The nature of the copyrighted work. 3. The amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. 4. The effect of the use upon the potential market for, or value of, the copyrighted work.
Don't do that again.
Just let me go.
Listen and understand that
Trump American
is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Can you stop it?
I don't know. With these weapons, I don't know.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is a boom.
City of Champions, Brockton, Massachusetts, with your host, Keith Sinister One Hayes.
All right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are listening to The Booth, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Actually, I have to change the tag for my guest here, so let me do this on the fly. Tisha. There we go. And that's straight, because I want to get this straight. I was so excited we were talking, and usually this is one of the things that I do, but y'all are gonna see why I'm kind of excited right now. Let me I want first, hold on. She got me so confused tonight, bro. Y'all don't understand. You all really don't understand right now, because we about to get into it. I'm all discombobulated. First of all, I got to thank my guests from last week. First Tuesdays, Kenneth Diesenhoff, Robert Resnick of the Corridor. They came on. I turned the show over to Colonel Robert Resnick, who talked about the war in Iran, really broke it down, gave you guys some serious knowledge on the matter. Like we said, I'm always telling people, do your homework. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of stuff out there. Do your homework and realize exactly what's going on around here. Let me get into my sponsors and stuff and supporters real quick. Michael Douglas Barretto, MDB Electronics. If you have a controller that needs to get fixed, get it back out to him. 24, 48 hours, you're back to gaming. This is definitely something that you want to be in on. Veana Marie, that's my artist. You heard some of her music during the countdown before the show. And it's 494,000 streams, so make sure to show her some support. When you see me at the range, you see me with those zombie targets, tacticaltargetsystems.com. Those are those life-size zombie targets that you see me with. I love BostonSports.com. That's my man. He's got the t-shirt business, Marlon Williams, black-owned business. And then my artist, Veana Marie, is featured there. Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Ladies, if you never thought you could take some bedroom-type photos and feel empowered, Kimberly Ann will take you, make you feel strong and give you that encouragement to take those photos that you never thought you would take. Some women just go and they take the pictures for themselves privately just to say, hey, shit, I did this. But reach out to her, Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Also, black-owned business, Underwatch Protective Services. That's my man, Daryl Smith. If you need any type of armed guard or security service, reach out to Underwatch Protective Services. And then there's my buddy, Call Larry. Handyman services around the house. Springtime is here, coming up fast. Make sure to check them out. And Kevin Jeffries, before we get into the news booth, I got my first guest on here. And I got to play this because Kevin Jeffries is in the chat. And Kevin Jeffries for Turnbuckles and Spelt Like a Podcast, I suggested that for our first guest here, he needs to have this woman on with his show. So, Kevin, I hate to say this, bro, but you might have to get off. Let me put the spoiler alert because we're going to really...
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
All right, you all have been warned. If you don't want to know nothing about this movie, Kevin Jeffries, I suggest you get off. I suggest you get off and you and your wife go watch this movie. I'm going to say Tanaijsa. Is that how you say it? Tanaijsa Brutus?
Tanaijsa. Yeah.
Tanaijsa yeah. Brutus. Okay. All right. And I would have gotten all of this straight. Yo.
If I didn't bring it
up. If look, I would have had all of this straight. I'm being super unprofessional, but there's a reason why, people. So, you're the executive producer for this new film called No Strings, which is now available on Amazon Prime. And I'm going to tell you something. I know what the EP is. The EP is the person who puts the money up, who funds this money. So obviously somebody said, hey, I got this script. I want this to be a movie. Can you look at this and let me know if this is something you might want to back? And I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
After seeing this movie, I was like, I know why she cut that check, bro. Look. So the trailer played before we came on the air. And just kind of let y'all know, y'all seen it. Y'all seen the trailer. And I'm going to tell you right now, the trailer doesn't do the movie justice. No. When I saw the trailer, I thought, okay, it's couples, wives with an app, there's cheating involved. But then when this movie opens, you got a serial killer killing women. And I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't what the trailer portrays it to be. This is like a thriller. So then I would just let you know, people, there's some famous movies back in the day where we have some scenes where you're like, damn, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
This movie gave me New Jack City, Juice vibes. There's just so much that happens in this movie that I was like, Ninja, please. And I got to the end, and I'm going to tell you something. When I got to the end of the film, I was like, you still really don't know who the serial killer is. Because I'm going to tell you after this conversation who I think the killer is, really. But talk about this. How were you approached with this, and how did this all come to be, this movie?
So I have a really good friend. Her name is Kiki Williams. She was she started out as my graphic designer. And we just prayed about it together. And we were talking, and she had connected with, India, who is the writer of the movie. And she was like, I did her graphics for her last film, and she's trying to do a new film. So this was like, I would say, winter of 2024. And then we had a meeting January of 2025, and they were like, well, payments start in like March. So you guys need to get your, get on this now. She had us read over the scripts. After that, she was like, is there any changes you guys would like to make? And I'm like, no, this is perfect the way it is. Don't change anything. Don't doubt the script. This is the one. Because she had several scripts, but her heart was drawn to No Strings. And I think somebody else had told her, like, this is the script. This is the one. And then after that, we went into casting, and that was an extensive process. After that, it was like the filming of the movie, picking out locations and things like that. It was shot in Detroit. And then it came to be, it took, like 5 days to shoot.
Oh, okay. So, and it's funny because it's funny, we were talking off air, and the opening scene is a dead body and the cops arriving, and to be honest, when in the opening scene, the actors who are acting, at first you're kind of like, okay, this is one of those type of Tubi films that we see, but then when you get into the real characters, the meat and potato characters, you're like, okay, this is different. I'm starting to connect. I was when I was watching this, I was connecting emotionally to some of these characters. And when you have a good movie and a good script, that's exactly what you want your movie to do, is to connect with people on an emotional level, to the point where there are some things, and I put the spoiler alert up, so don't get mad, people, but character development is plus. And I feel like some movies take forever to set up the characters. And I like how when this was shot, the problem is that the women were unhappy in their marriages. And, we see the first fight, the first argument, they break it down. We see all the arguments and the issues between the couples in this film. And then we see why it led them to the app. So I feel like the movie really broke down in a nice way the problems within the relationships and so forth. So now you have your characters, and you're starting to like the characters, and you have one character that was just kind of like, I don't care, I'm doing this. You have one character that was conflicted, and another. So you guys took the characters and also put them at different levels. Was that something she wrote that way? Is that how that was planned to be?
Yeah, that was something that she planned it to be. I definitely would have to connect you with her, but definitely that was something that she had planned it to be, them being at different levels and different types of relationships and them having the different problems that they have.
Yeah, because it was crazy. So you're the EP on this film, and like you said, you had 5 days of shooting, which isn't bad. That's not a bad amount of time to shoot a film. But I liked the fact that the clothing, the costume and stuff, the clothing fit each character's, that type of person that they were, like the one character's husband, he's a lawyer, he's a defense attorney. Yeah. So, he's the sharp dude, he's the Christopher Williams of the movie, his character, I really liked his character. Then, you had Onyx, just the character development was just so crazy.
And these are popular actors within the independent film industry. I hate saying Tubi actor. They're really good with independent film. So getting them on the project and getting their cosign, like, hey, this script is fire. Like, I would love to be a part of it. It really did something for me because this is my first project. So this is my baby. You know what I mean? And for India, I know it did something even more for her because she wrote it. So for them to be like, the script is fire, and then they're talking about there should be a part 2, this should be a series. Yeah. So.
that was my next question, because I'm like, the way this ended, you gotta be like this for part 2. You have to.
Yeah. So for part 2 or series, we're not sure just yet. We keep giving her the feedback because we're getting the feedback from everybody and we're telling everybody to watch it. So we're kind of just like, yeah, these people said it should be a series and these people said it should be a part 2. And she's just like, well, I wrote something or I outlined something and we'll talk about it, because she's working on several projects. I'm working on a few that I want to bring to the Boston area. So yeah, I'm definitely in on part 2, or series, whichever way she goes. It's definitely something that's gonna happen. It's just a matter.
My opinion would be, if it's going to be a series, you would have to have different seasons of different couples. You know, I think that's how you go. But if you go the sequel route, like I said, for me, I feel like who they set up and made you think was the serial killer, you also left that window open that he may not have been the serial killer, to be honest, because all these people was on this app, the No Strings app. So I'm like, so realistically, any of these dudes could be the serial killer. And I feel like my man who pulled a Juice move where you...
Oh, Quentin?
Yeah, Quentin pulled a Tupac Shakur in this movie. Like, I had liked Quentin in the beginning, I felt bad, but then he just started doing his stuff. And I'm like, yo, this is a dirty dude. And then when he did what he did in the hospital, I'm like, yo, then you show up at the funeral.
Yeah.
Like Tupac and Juice. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Like he could be the killer. He could be the serial, because that's some serial killer stuff right there. So I'm like, ooh. I'm like, he could be it. And then the nice guy could be the serial killer.
Oh, are you talking about Malik?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys could go in so many different directions with it. And I'm like, yo, you really don't know who it was. Because they want you. You're saying it's Onyx. Onyx was this bad dude. Onyx did some stuff. But at the end of the day, you still don't know if Onyx was that dude, because they was all... So I'm like...
They was all on it, yeah.
Whoo.
Our our hands are tied. It's all on India right now.
Yeah, and then you had some great scenes. Not just the fact that it's a good movie. There are some scenes where you could cut the tension. So like when the mother and the girl, the friend, shows up to the cookout at the end, and she has to go to the bathroom. She says she's pregnant, and the other woman is looking, and I'm like, she knows. Like, I'm like, I think she knows. And then she come right out, and she's like, let's go get some food, but she didn't invite the other girl. And then she told her, she's like, I know they did this, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought she was going to go snatch her up, but she didn't.
Nope.
Because, most women would have been like, nah, I'm snatching her up out of her weave, pregnant her up. Because that's a lick back. So, I enjoyed the movie a lot. Like I said,
in the theater watching it back because I wasn't really involved. I wasn't involved with the editing part, but I was involved with the premiere and watching it after and like seeing it on screen. Like I was glued to my my god!
Anybody scream out some stuff at the screen? Because I know
it was like she trifling. Look at her. And then it was like 10 months. Yeah, it was a lot of shouting in this Detroit people, and they a little bit different from Boston people, so they over there. She trifling. Oh, girl.
That's like I said. When I saw it, I'm like, in the movies, it had to be good because I know there was some people yelling at this. They had to. There were some parts in there. Because I was downstairs in my basement watching it, and the scene in the hospital, I was like, I was yelling at the TV. I was like, are you shitting me? Like, what?
They said that one was very intense, because I wasn't in the room when they filmed.
Oh, really?
No, there was a few people in there, and they were just like, he was sweating, and he was really into that character, and then he switched. Like, there was no cut afterward, like, no cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just like, you can feel the tension after the scene was done. It was, like, very intense, so yeah.
Yeah, so everybody out there, the movie is called No Strings. You saw the trailer before the show aired. It's on Amazon Prime. Check it out. Show some support. Like I said, it's worth it. It's worth the watch. It's a good couples movie, to be honest. If you got a girlfriend or a wife or a boyfriend, it's a definitely good couples movie because it's going to put some questions out there.
Yeah.
It's going to put some questions out there, but for like one, it's like, okay, does dude was cheating on his girl mad long. And it's like, so she got her lick back, and it's like, at first he was mad, and I was sitting there like, what you mad about, bruh? Like,
well, I think for him, it was like he was finally like getting his stuff together. So it was just like, why now? Like, you could have did it while I was doing it, then it would have made more sense. You know what I mean? But she did it like after he was like on the straight and narrow, and that's without giving out too much as to the storyline itself.
Oh, we put the spoiler alert up. We chopping this up. The spoiler alert went out.
Well, he cheated on her. He was cheating on her for like 10 years. So it's just like, how, and it was just like, you should have got him back sooner. You know what I mean? Not saying that, but it starts, it starts those conversations between you and your person where you're like, what would you do in this type of situation? Would you come and tell me,
Yeah, I feel it, and like I said, there was some scenes in this where I'm like, damn. And then you all touched on a scene that my man Kevin Jeffries is usually on here. We have a black men's group, and in that black men's group on Thursday nights, it's private, it's over Zoom. A lot of us are in there, and we talk about black men problems. And there was a scene that was very, I want to say it really hit the point. There's the scene where he wakes up, he goes to the bathroom, and he's peeing blood. And what was different is dude got right on the phone and called his doctor. And in the black community, there's a lot of times in the black community where we don't do stuff like that. Black men don't say nothing. Black men don't really, and here you go, here it is in this movie. There's definitely something wrong. He pulls his phone out, he calls his doctor, and then the next scene is him at the doctor's office, and he's being told that he's got prostate cancer and stage 2. So it's like, yo, that's deep, because if you can take that scene and get into the mentality of young black men that, hey, it's okay to call a doctor if you're peeing blood. It's okay, because this is what could happen. This could be what is wrong. Something as minor as that could be this. So I liked having that in there. I would love to know why she put that in. I felt like that was clutch. That was something that black men needed to see. Some of us black men needed to see that. So I like that.
I feel like for William's character, it also explained why he was feeling as tired as he was, and why, we, like you said, we don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about black people's health, black men's health in general. We don't talk about it enough. So I felt like William's character was very important, and it had to be, shout out to KO, because he played that character down, and flew from Dallas to Detroit for that role. So, shout out to him for that. We don't talk about health that much in the black community, and that needed to be portrayed on screen.
I loved it. I'm giving a big shout out for that scene, because for me, I was like, yo, we're seeing it. And this is what more black men need to see, that type of stuff, And then he called his man up and met him at the bar to tell him, he told him he knew his wife was
anybody. He held it close. Like, he didn't tell his wife, and she was getting frustrated with him. He didn't tell his friends, his boys. He didn't tell anybody. So it was kind of like he was going through it alone, which is something that we rarely do see in the black community, within our black men. So I thought it needed to be shown. There was a lot of back and forth on what we needed to take out of the movie, which was nothing. I was like, what do you think we need to take out? Because this is a perfect script. This is, if anything, this is the perfect script. So
yeah, and you know what? I felt like it was dead on. I felt like the runtime was perfect. And like I said, there really wasn't much that I think I would have taken out of this film. I think the only scene that was weird to me was when the girl robbed the store.
Oh, when they was in the back.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, sister, why you do that? I would have stayed and got the fit, but I guess she took the whole mannequin and everything.
Yeah, people was like that. They was like, Brianna couldn't have waited until the girl left so she could do all that. So they was like, she deserved that.
Yeah, there was some good stuff. Like I said, I felt like the characters were definitely on point. The casting for the type of characters they were, I felt like was dead on. I felt like those characters was dead on. And like I said, I felt like the script was dead on. I sat here, I watched the film, and I got so many different classic movie vibes from this that I was like, wow. And like I said, I had to ask, because I'm expecting a part 2. I'm definitely expecting a part 2. So you can let Ms. Williams know, Kiki, I need to know.
Yep. I would let them both know. Yeah, I would let them both know, because it's definitely something that everybody has been saying. Like, we need a part 2. We need a series, something. Like, the one who played Dwight, the lawyer, he suggested a series. And that was before he became one of the actors on the film, like just reading through it. He's good friends with the writer of the film, India. Yeah, so there's a few different people who already suggested like a part 2 or a series, and I think everybody's willing. The cast is willing to come back. Ooh. So we're definitely in the right space. And then with the cliffhanger that we had, there were so many.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, I said to myself, I'm like, as a woman, you're willing to accept to know that your man cheated and she's pregnant with his child, and you about to accept that? I was like, yo, I don't know if I could do all that.
Well, I think it's because she got her lick back and she's willing to make her marriage work. But it just lets you know, like, women are willing to work through almost anything.
Right.
Their relationship work and not call it quits. So,
but then you cheating on dude with his brother that he didn't know he had. That was like I'm like, the shots just keep coming in this movie, bro.
You're not lying.
But here's the funny thing about it. So for those, again, the movie's No Strings. And it's funny because people will look at this and they'll say, damn, everybody was so connected. That's not true. And then you go back and I tell people, yes, no, it is true. Because how many times have you gone on Facebook or Instagram and seen friends of friends of friends of people that you never, ever met in years, but they've been friends for years and years, or they've done business. So that, when I saw this, I'm like, that's true. That can happen.
It's so interconnected. Yep.
So I felt like for anybody who says that, nope, go on your friend list and look at how many people are connected, and you're gonna say
and all that.
Yep. So yeah, it was it was a film and a half for me. I was like, bro, check this. I was telling everybody, check this out.
I've been watching, so since it's been up on Prime, I've probably watched it like 17 times. No, I'm not playing. I'm playing. Maybe I watched it like 4 or 5 times already since it's been out on Prime. I think it's going to be like a couple more weeks until it's on Tubi and a few other platforms like YouTube TV and stuff. So, I'm happy to see the results of what's to come.
When's it hitting Tubi? Because it's about to go crazy on Tubi.
It didn't really tell me when it's hitting Tubi. We got an email just stating that it's going to take about 2 to 6 weeks, and that was about 2 to 4 weeks ago. So.
Oh, it's about to go crazy. The black community watches Tubi. That's going to hit Tubi, and you might see that's going to be the one everybody's going to be sharing and talking about on Tubi. Because I'm like, yep, this is
it was a lot going on. It was a lot going on, and I think it's a conversation starter for real. Definitely about a few different things about cheating, how much you're willing to accept, about health. Taking care of your health. With the William character, and then how far you're willing to go.
Yep.
Secrets.
Yeah, because that's exactly what How far is too far? And all 3 of these women, they get in these situations, and with the one girl when she goes out to Chicago, I was like, she's not gonna. I'm like, she's too loyal to her girl. I'm like, she's walking out of here, and then she didn't, and I was like, I was hurt, to be honest. Because now we had already known your man is dying, and you out here, and I was kind of like, oh, bro, that's not a good
I had to keep pulling myself back because I'm like, she doesn't know, and so we see the full picture. We see everything. She's going to work every day. This man that she doesn't know is spoiling her, just sending her money for food, and she's behind on bills, and she just thinks her man's at home playing games all day, being lazy. And come to find out he's dying. So we see the whole thing. She only sees one half. So I had to keep pulling myself back. Like, she only sees this. And that's the one they was calling trifling in the movie.
Oh, that was the scene? That was the scene where they
trifling, she trifling.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe it.
For Diamond's character, she played Niecy, and they were just like, her with Onyx, they were just like, oh my God, like, this is so intense, especially their sex scenes. They were just like, this is so intense. What is going on? So
I liked how he flipped it. Like when it came time to see who he was and what type of person he was, I was like, yo, he flipped that good. He's a good actor. That dude is on point. Because he
I
flipped
love
it.
King Wesley. King Wesley has been acting on the Detroit scenes for years. I think he said over 20.
Damn.
Yeah, and he's acted in a few bigger productions, like with Stars and Hulu and all those things. But yeah, he's a really good actor, and he's very humble. Like when I met him for the first time in person, he's just like, "Thank you so much for this opportunity and casting me," and very humble, very, very humble. Actually, Niecy's character is one of the EPs on the project.
Okay.
And yeah, she did good. I don't think it was her debut role, but it was one of her newer roles, and now she has more projects out now.
Okay. Yeah, that was, everybody did a good job. Everybody did a tremendous job in their parts. Like I said, it was entertaining. I liked it from beginning to end. Like I said, I was like, when you got me yelling at the TV screen, you didn't done your job right until the end, to the very end. And I was sitting there. It was funny because I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn, this is a long movie. I'm like, how they gonna end this? And then you all ended it with a cliffhanger, and I'm like, bro, that first of all, that's something we don't really see a lot in movies these days. Like you left it and said, okay, we cutting it right here, and you all gonna be like, what the hell? Like,
I think it was the perfect time to just, let it, cut it for right there, just so we can get the feedback that we need, whether it should be.
I hope you got it, because to be honest, you built the tension up, because you built the tension up with the fact that she knows the baby's not hers, and this, you built that tension up, and then dude arrives to the cookout, and then he's like, oh, this is my brother. And it's like, bam. And I'm like, bro, you didn't build up the tension, then cut the tension right at the peak. And I'm like, you all did us dirty.
Oh, so crushed.
And that's how you get people. That's how you get people talking. And I know when this hits Tubi, I'm hoping to see #NoStrings on a lot of people's social media. I hope a lot of people start sharing and saying, #NoStrings, and just be talking about it, because it really deserves to be talked about. It's a good film. Great film. Good job. I applaud you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was very nervous because I've never done film before. I write books, and that's just about it. But, this kind of piqued my appetite for, doing more film. So hopefully we'll see more.
Yeah, I'd like to see more. Like I said, I'm going to put you in touch with a couple of people, because I wanted them to see it, and I want you to try to get people on as many podcasts as you can. I would love to pick the brains of the writer of the film, the screenplay. I would love to do that, so we can touch base on that at a later time. But yeah, because like I said, this film was just... It was so good for me. It was so good for me for black. Black cinema sometimes doesn't get the props that black cinema does, and I feel like this is one of these movies that, in certain circles, people were gonna talk about this. You know what I'm saying? And I would love to see this be up for some type of independent black film award or something, because I think it's worthy of that. I felt like character development was on point. I felt like the script was on point. There wasn't many holes for us to be like, okay, you had some holes here. You really didn't have any holes. The holes were kind of all brought up to the end, and like I said, you built that tension up and left us hanging. And
as many plot twists as there wasn't much confusion. You know how you read something or you watch something? There wasn't confusion when the plot twist came to light. It was just like, oh, it's more of like sitting on the edge of your seat, and it makes sense, and it finally clicks when the plot twists come out. It's just like, okay.
So did she have this? Did she have this written really close to what we saw on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, yes. That explains it. I think that explains it. she really she left no room for people to. So the way she wrote this carried right over to the screen. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
That explains a lot about this film now.
Yeah.
That's why.
There's, the script supervisors on set, and of course there's like little changes, like, maybe there's a cup in the scene, or maybe there's food in the scene, or maybe there's something that needs to be in the scene that wasn't written in the script.
Right.
The script supervisors kind of handled that, and that was Kiki and I believe Tam or Kaylin.
Right.
But they did a tremendous job.
Nice.
I was happy to just be a casting director and EP on this project.
And I tell you, it was a good another good scene in this film, the courtroom scene.
Oh yeah.
That courtroom scene was crazy because this dude, she had already told him, and he's like, I got this. He told her, he was like, I got this. And I'm like, how's he gonna get this? Yeah. And I'm like, this dude had it done in the courthouse. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah. And the fact that he already threw out there in the beginning, like, I'm a real street nigga behind this suit. So it was just like, you know what? Yeah.
And he proved it. He lived by that line, because you heard that line and you was like, yo, pretty boy. Because I'm like, he's like Christopher Williams in New Jack City, you know? And I'm like, okay, he's not really, he's just talking.
Yeah.
And then when that courtroom scene happened, I'm like, oh, Ninja's not talking. He's a real street.
And they called him? Yeah.
I'm like, bruh, okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking no shit. He was really street.
Yeah, he was ready to back it up. Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, okay. And, okay, so do you feel like he loves his woman then?
Yeah. I don't think the question was, does Dwight love Niecy? I don't think that was ever a question, like, when reading the script. Even, like, their attraction for each other, the chemistry that they had on set was very real, very authentic. I think it was just a matter of, why he did the things that he did before the movie started. So, like, the cheating for 10 plus years, why? What causes you to do something like that, And then he was in the house with the assistant. I said, sir, the same assistant you cheated on? No. Yeah, no.
Yeah, because like I said, the courtroom scene was crazy, but it said a lot about his character to me. Like, it was like, okay, it wasn't just him being a street dude. He also was like, I'm protecting my woman at the end of the day. This isn't.
And that's why I said, is how far are you willing to go? Even with Quentin's character in the hospital scene, how far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go for the person that you love or the person that you have feelings for?
Yeah,
there's a lot of.
That was shit. That was some, like I said, that was some Tupac Shakur type stuff right there from Juice. I was like, yo, yeah, but you're right. How far would you go? And there's a lot of that. And like I said, this is definitely one of those ones where if you're a couple, I'd like to see a couple of couples talk this movie over and see how they feel about it, because, there was things in there, like I said, and the problems that she put in there were realistic problems, Yes. They were definitely realistic problems, So it was good stuff. But we went over the 10 minutes. We went way over the 10 minutes. We 7:39. I want to thank you for coming on. No, I knew this. Look, I knew this was going to happen, because when I got done watching this movie, I'm like, we're going past the 10 minutes.
Yeah. I hope
so. We going past the 10 minutes because I had so many questions, because I was so entertained. And like I said, people, the movie is no strings. It's a black film. It was great stuff. And here's the funny thing. Before Q walked up in there in Chicago, I was like, is this going to be one of these comedic moments where maybe a white dude walks in?
Yeah.
And because it was building
heavy.
as to who this was. I'm like, it's going to be a white guy, and it's going to be the comedic moment of the film. And it wasn't. It didn't. Q walks in, and you're like, oh, damn, okay. like, where we going with this? Like as soon as that scene popped, you was like, okay, now where we going?
Yeah.
And
are you gonna do what he's telling you to do, or are you gonna, be loyal to your friend? And it's just like, she didn't stick to the girl code, but it's whatever. It was a great movie. It was a great movie.
Yeah, it was a good film. And it was funny because I actually had said to myself, for a movie that you thought was going to have its comedic moments, it was really a serious movie. It was a thriller, like it ended up being at the end of the day, and I applaud that. Like I said, it was a great film. So No Strings, everybody. It's on Amazon Prime. She just said, keep your eye out. It's going to end up on Tubi. But it's a good film. No Strings. It's a good conversation piece. I see a lot of people in the chat. If you have a spouse, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, definitely a date movie. Definitely a date movie. I'll tell you right now, this would have been a hard first date movie.
Yeah. Because it'd be like, what do you think about this character? Yeah.
This is not the movie for a first date. Not a movie for a first date.
This is for the committed relationship. You got to have some years in before you. Yeah. We don't need nobody to be single.
Right, exactly. Because I'm like, yo, if you go on this movie on the first date, and as soon as they start cheering for certain characters, you're like, yeah, this ain't the person I want.
Yeah.
Let me get this person up out of here. Get out my car. I'm hoping, to see more from you guys. I'm going to keep my eyes on you guys and what you're doing with other films. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the sequel, but yeah.
Yeah, I have you on Facebook, so definitely will reach out. Definitely trying to do my own thing with the Boston scene, because Greater Boston doesn't have film like that. We do, but we don't.
Don't get me started.
So yeah.
It's part of that's that crab in the barrel mentality, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then, with me working on, I'll give out a little bit of information. The script that I'm working on is a TV series. It's called Beantown. But it puts you more so in the mind of like a Power, Snowfall type thing. I wrote like the first couple episodes, and the feedback even from India, because she read it, and Kiki, and they were just like, I'll EP on this, and I'll direct this, and so they're coming up soon for that. But it's just very difficult to cast. Not everybody's an actor, or the people that you want to play street characters, they don't have that acting ability. So it's very difficult. So that's kind of where I am right now.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Luckily I was in the game plan with The Rock. I was an extra in that, so I've done some stuff, and acting is very hard. So my hat is off to those who do acting. And we need actors and actresses. For all you out here who are sharing these AI videos and stuff, stop it. You're hurting a whole business and a whole industry. Let actors and actresses act. Let filmmakers be filmmakers. We don't need AI to do everything for us. So we need to really stop that, because we wouldn't have great films like this. For me, I have no problem using AI if you were going to storyboard the film.
Yeah.
I think if you're storyboarding, you can say, okay, how's this scene going to look? And then you use AI to storyboard that scene. I got no problem with that, but let actors be actors and actresses be actresses. Let you guys do what you got to do, the EPs and everybody. So
yeah, I enjoyed EPing. I got asked to EP another project. I'm actually EPing my own, but it's also working with India. That will probably be an announcement that comes out later. But definitely, there's a few things that are coming out. I hope you guys are ready. If you guys love No Strings, then you guys are going to love the future projects that are coming out because we're only going to get better.
Okay, cool. I want to thank you for coming on. Social media. How can people follow you and check you out?
Tanaijsa Brutus on Facebook. So the way it's spelled on the screen, Tanaijsa Brutus. On Instagram, it's author Tana B. And then I think that's about it because everything else is either Tanaijsa Brutus or author Tana.
Yeah, I think I linked up with you on LinkedIn too because I like to keep the professional link up in too.
Yeah.
So we again, people, before we take a quick break here, again, the movie is called No Strings. The trailer is crazy. We showed it before we came into this, and I really want to thank you for coming on because I really enjoyed this film.
Yes.
I was so happy with this film. I was like, man, this is some good stuff here. So thank you for coming on here, and I'm going to take a quick break.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Anybody you want to shout out before we get you out of here?
Shout out to the whole, No Strings cast and crew. I appreciate every single last one of them. Yeah, that's about it. And shout out to you for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I told Kevin Jeffries and his wife to reach out to you so they can watch that and you can get on their podcast they're trying to kick off. And like I said, I told him, I'm like, bro, this would be the first best opening podcast for you coming right out the gate with this woman. She's an EP, black film. I already told him it's good stuff. So we're going to take a quick break. Yep, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back here in a minute. You're watching The Booth. I'm Sinister One. Here we go. All right, it's your boy Sinister One. We're back here broadcasting live from the City of Champions. Tanaijsa Brutus for coming on the show. The movie is called No Strings. You want to definitely check that out. We are at 7:48, and I got to get into the show. Chris Gagdy, everybody that's in the chat, thank you for hanging out with me in the chat. In the news booth, let's get into the news booth. In the news booth, Davinci Leonard was arraigned on the double murder charges in the Brockton court. And let's see here. I believe he was arraigned. He's got 2 counts of murder and then 2 counts of discharging the firearm. The case has been continued to May 13th. Case has been continued to May 13th. The courtroom was filled with family members of the victims. But again, May 13th is going to be the continuance date. Also, I don't know why this is doing that. And going back to this pause screen. Got a little issue here. It keeps going back to this pause screen. So I think I'll just keep it here until I figure that out. In the entertainment booth, Microsoft announces Xbox Project Helix for the 2027 release. This is the next gen system. The next gen system is going to be kind of PC based. As you guys know, Xbox has adopted this play anywhere. They've been getting to this point where not only do you play on the Xbox, you can play on your computer, you can play on your handheld. They just had the Asus ROG Xbox handheld that just came out, which you can also play. So it's very interesting. So Project Helix has been announced. There's the new Xbox symbol. and that will be coming in 2027. It's funny how they did this because they announced, Xbox was was winding down, and they had everybody talk, and they did exactly what they needed to do to scare people, and then they come out, and then they was like, yep, this is what's coming. So it was great stuff. Also, let's see, in the sports booth, see, now those worked. In the sports booth, big ups to Bob Kraft. He chartered the Patriots team jet to fly home Americans from the Middle East. If you heard the news, there were Americans that were trapped over in the Middle East during these attacks. Airports had shut down and things of that sort. When they called the helpline, they got a message telling them that they're kind of on their own. The government wasn't ready to help them yet. So big ups to Bob Kraft for sending the Patriots jet over to get these Americans home from the Middle East. Also in the sports booth, the Patriots, well, actually the town of Foxborough released a public statement. The Patriots and FIFA had released a statement stating that they had come to an agreement with the town of Foxborough. Town of Foxborough has now released a statement saying, no, we didn't come to an agreement. That's false, and blah, blah, blah. Now, this is just my opinion in the matter. This is just my opinion in the matter of Foxborough and FIFA. When I read this agreement over, it was like, I don't know, it was like in the range of $4 to $10 million that the town of Foxborough would have to come up with and pay up front in regards to this entertainment license and as far as police coverage, fire, and all that stuff. But FIFA pays this back. This isn't money, because I see a lot of people, they're saying, well, the taxpayers and so and so shouldn't. Well, you're not. The taxpayers in town isn't footing the bill. They pay this upfront cost, and then when FIFA's all said and done, FIFA will pay them back that money plus whatever else was incurred. So I feel like, in this, this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. In this day and age of bad press equals good press, I think this is all, I hate to say this, I think it's all a work. I think this is all creation of bad press. And the reason why is because when I read that agreement, again, you're getting that money back. You're going to get the money you spent back from FIFA. When FIFA comes here and when all is said and done, the amount of money that the town of Foxborough is going to make off that period of FIFA being here in June, they're going to make that money back and then some. And not only are they going to make that money back, even if you have 1% of these international fans coming back here to see a soccer game, you've won. Even if you have 1% coming back, that's hotels booked, that's all this stuff. So I feel like this is a work. I feel like this is something that they're just getting their views out of, their stories out of. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's, I think, Kraft or something. Something's coming up. The money's going to come from somewhere. And this is going to happen. FIFA is going to happen here. There's too many. They're already advertising all these jobs. Transportation bids have gone out for transportation companies for shuttling buses up there. All of this stuff is going on. Advertising is being done at South Station, MBTA. So for them to say that these aren't going to happen because it's being held up by the town of Foxborough selectmen, I think it's a work. I think it's all a work. I think it's bad press is good press. I think they're making a good game out of this. Like I said, the town of Foxborough's name is being talked about overseas now. FIFA may not come to Massachusetts, may not come to Boston. Because, outside of Massachusetts, outside of here, it's Boston, Boston, Boston. They don't care that it's 40, 50 miles away from Boston. It's still, they say Boston. And Foxborough is being talked about in FIFA voices in other languages about this event. Because I believe Haiti, and I forget Scotland, I forget the other countries that are coming here. But all those countries are coming here, and that's all getting mentioned. So Foxborough stands to win a lot more than what they're putting up. So in my opinion, like I said, I think this is a total work. Also, in the NFL, free agency period has begun. In Miami, no surprise, damaged goods. This man's had several concussions. Miami has released Tua Tagovailoa, but then the Falcons picked him up, and I'm confused at that. I'm confused as to why the Falcons would pick him up. He's damaged goods. He's a concussion risk. I don't get it, but that's where they're going to. Also, in other NFL free agent moves, the Patriots picked up guard Alijah Vera-Tucker. The Patriots need a guard. 21 sacks in the playoffs, 6 sacks alone in the Super Bowl. So the Patriots need to solidify that for next year. They need to protect their quarterback, Drake May. So getting a guard is great. And then 2 of my most favorite players in the NFL. Defensive lineman Maxx Crosby. I wanted him to come here. I was praying. Patriots were at the number 1 top of the list that Maxx Crosby was coming to. And nope. Maxx Crosby, defensive lineman, leaves the Raiders, and he's going to go to the Ravens, which is going to solidify their defense. And then I've always said I love wide receiver Mike Evans down there in Tampa Bay. Love Mike Evans. And Mike Evans isn't coming to the Patriots either. Mike Evans is going to the Niners. So they definitely could use that wide receiver there. The Chiefs, they had a good free agency period. They signed Travis Kelce to a 1-year deal. He's winding down. He's winding down, and he's getting married this year here down in the Cape. And, who knows what's going to happen after he gets married to Taylor Swift. And then the Chiefs landed Seahawks Super Bowl star Kenneth Walker, running back Kenneth Walker, is now going to the Chiefs. That's going to take some pressure off Patrick Mahomes down there in KC when you got another good, solid running back like him to come out. And he breaks tackles, but he gets the outside real nice. He cut the Patriots up in that Super Bowl. He single-handedly destroyed the Patriots defense in that game. So big ups to the Seahawks. Well, big ups to the Chiefs for landing him. Let's get into the legal booth. And it didn't do it. Okay, so it's only on those first 2. So in the legal booth, Nancy Mace's bill was defeated. Nancy Mace, Republican, had a bill that she had put forth that would have forced the House and Senate and White House to release the names of those who paid out on sexual... So I guess there's this slush fund, and the slush fund is used to pay out victims of sexual harassment that happens within the White House, the Senate, and Congress. 357 members of the House and Senate, they voted against it. They voted against it, which is kind of crazy considering everybody's running around and wanting the Epstein files to be released. But someone told me, because I didn't get a chance to really read through the bill, but someone said the reason why it didn't pass is because in that bill, the victims would have to be made public. And I guess the 357 members weren't happy with that. So Nancy Mace is putting out there and saying 357 members voted against you. But the truth of the matter is that this bill would also expose the victims. And as we've seen with the unredacted names of victims, this was a big deal in threats and things of that sort. So now I kind of understand why they voted against the Nancy Mace bill. So that's why I tell people you gotta do your homework. You have to make sure you know what you're talking about. That's why I didn't speak on it. A lot of people will say, oh, Keith thinks he knows it all. No, I don't know it all. I don't know it all. Trust and believe me. But one of the things I learned from my dad is that growing up, my dad used to say, don't talk about shit that you know nothing about because you're only going to look like an asshole at the end of the day. If you know about something and you've learned about it, you've studied it, you read about it, and you know what's going on, then hey, talk about it, debate it, do whatever. And I see a lot of people, they come at me hard because of that, and that's because I do my homework, I dot my I's and cross my T's, and then I let I put it out there. And then when you come at me on something that I put out there that I know that I've done the time and put the work in, and done my checking, and and lots of times I always share the resource. That's what kills me, is these people come out and they come after you, and you share resources and they still come at you like you're crazy. And a lot of these people, they don't have any resources. They come back with false memes, and it's crazy. But again, I'm glad I read up on this. Now I understand why Nancy Mace's bill was shot down. I wonder if it's going to be rewritten, because sometimes that happens. Even though a bill is shot down, a bill can go and get redone and then come back and resubmit under another bill. So I wonder if that could happen. We'll see. But that was the only story in the legal booth. 8 o'clock, let's get into Trump troubles. In Trump troubles, the AAA national gas average has jumped by 40%. I got gas this morning. It was $3.89, and thankfully to my Cumberland Farms app, my gas was down 20 cents less, but still up over $3. And a lot of people I see a lot of people now, they're blaming Trump and this and that, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The president has no control over the gas prices. The president does not have, it's a commodity. Crude oil is a commodity. It is traded in the public stock network. It's traded upon. People are saying, well, Trump started the war and this. No, Trump is involved in this war, but it wasn't Trump. We didn't blow up the oil fields. Israel blew up the oil fields. Israel sent a drone and struck the tanker that was delivering fuel somewhere and had to turn around in the Strait of Hamas and had to turn around and go back, which is why the prices have gone up. Israel blew up these fields and these tanks, and that caused a shortage. That caused an instant shortage of crude oil to be delivered and pumped. So that quickly drives up demand, and that's why the price went up. And I saw somebody say it didn't affect the price. It stayed steady. No, it didn't. It got up over 100. It got up over 100. So the stocks are there. The facts are there. So people out here saying it never got over 100. It did. It got over $100 a barrel. It got close to 125 a barrel. And yesterday Trump had a whole meeting and told people that things are going to quell down, but it's not going to quell down. It's not going to quell down anytime soon. And here's the other problem that Trump is having in Trump troubles. California House Republican Kevin Kiley, Trump guy, MAGA guy, he's pulling out of the Republican Party. Again, there's a lot of things that Trump's doing that his own MAGA, there's a whole story ABC just did about MAGA people flipping. When Trump got into office, I said on this show, Trump has a serious issue. Even though he has the House and Senate majority, the problem here is that he only has a 5-7 margin when it comes to the swing vote. And if the Republicans want to screw him, what they do is they either just don't show up to vote, so that's now, and it's not a yay or a nay, it's an absentee mark, which can hurt you. So that happens. That has been happening where Republicans, some don't just show up. And then you do have some that cross the bipartisan lines and they vote yay or nay with the Democrats. And we've seen that. That's how the shutdown happened. But yes, Kevin Kiley has announced he's pulling out of the GOP immediately before midterms. And he has registered as an independent now. He says he's going to caucus with the GOP. He's going to caucus with them, but he is pulling out of the Republican Party, GOP, and he's registering as an independent. So guess what, people? That 5-7 margin that I talked about immediately becomes less. And again, as I said, President Trump is headed in the direction to where the majority in the House and Senate can flip without a midterm vote. That has never, I don't think that's ever happened in the history of politics. I don't think we've ever had a House and Senate majority flip while there was a sitting president in the seat. I would have to look it up, but I don't think there is. I think this will be history. So Kevin Kiley, big news again. So you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene, her seat's up. She stepped out. You have the Texas seat that I think the Democrats are going to take. Even though Jasmine Crockett lost to James Tallarico, I think the Democrats, once she puts her support behind James Tallarico, I think it's a wrap. I think Texas flips. And if Texas flips, that's bad. That's bad for Trump in midterms. That's bad for Trump in midterms. So we'll see. But like I said, Kevin Kiley is pulling out of the GOP and registers as an independent. And then here we go here. There was this whole issue with the dignified transfer. And President Trump, the first batch of soldiers, we are now at 7, had come home, service members who lost their lives over fighting in Iran. Trump wore his $55 hat that he's selling on his website, the baseball cap. And for those who think this wasn't a big deal or isn't something to be mad about, well, Fox and everybody else knew it was, because Fox went and photoshopped Trump's video in from months ago without a hat and superimposed it with the new footage and tried to sell it off as new footage. And then they had to file a friggin' statement and apologize because this was wrong. This was wrong. And I've seen a lot of MAGA people, a lot of MAGA nitwits, and MAGA nitwits know who they are. When I say MAGA nitwits, it's not a blanket statement. I've clarified what a MAGA nitwit is. And there's a certain person that's considered a MAGA nitwit. And the MAGA nitwits are those people who, when Colin Kaepernick was doing his thing, they were complaining and doing this and that about the national anthem. And it's like, you do realize that the dignified transfer is more important than the national anthem. And you're supposed to rise and take off your hats for the national anthem. That same etiquette applies to the dignified transfer, and there's even more to it. Okay? So I heard somebody say, well, Biden didn't salute. At least Trump saluted. Hey, dumbass, in the etiquette of a dignified transfer, you have two options. You can salute if you were a service member, or you stand at attention if you are a civilian. The President of the United States is a civilian, not military. So realistically, President Trump should have been standing at attention and not saluting, since he is really a civilian and never went to war, never fought a war, never got drafted because he had medical issues, bone spurs. So realistically, he should have been just standing at attention. He could salute if he wanted to, but I feel like if you didn't serve in the military, that you shouldn't salute. You should just stand at attention while those bodies go by. And then I saw people saying that, oh, well, Biden checked his watch. No, Biden checked his watch after the dignified transfer was completed and over. And we don't know what type of watch he had. He might have an iWatch, where he was getting messages at that time. He was standing at attention while the ceremony was going on. And when the ceremony was over, he was probably like, hey, who the heck is, we don't know that. But it was at least after the transfer happened. So people really need to stop. Also, here's another one. Dagobah. The swamp around the White House is nothing more than Dagobah. President Trump's sons are now the financial backers of this new USA drone company that doesn't even have drones yet. They're going to back this company, and then the company is going to buy the parts and stuff from a Ukraine company to get those parts over here and make US drones to satisfy the defense contract that they were handed. So how do you give a defense contract to a drone company that doesn't even have the fucking drones yet? Okay? Because I see a lot of people talking about this shit, saying I'm picking on Trump and all that. I'm not picking on Trump. I know what a grift is. I've been following politics since I was 16 years old. I know what a grift is. I know what ethics is. In Trump's first term, Ivanka was going to do this thing with a clothing company in China. where she would have made a shitload of money. And guess what? The guardrails back then in Trump's first term was in place, and he was shut down, and they said, hey, your daughter can't do that. That's a conflict of interest. It's a violation of ethics. Your daughter cannot do this. Shut that down. And people are like, well, he's doing it now. Well, he's doing it now because he's got a bunch of yes people. He has there are no government guardrails in place to stop President Trump. He can do everything and whatever he wants, and this is the type of grifting that happens. The Trump family has made billions of dollars off his presidency, which is something they shouldn't have done. And somebody actually put into my my inbox, and they pointed out the fact that when Jimmy Carter became president, he had to disconnect himself from his peanut field company because President Carter had peanut fields. And he had to disconnect. And if you guys remember, when President Trump first got into office, he had to separate himself. They wanted him to put the Trump Industries into a trust fund that nobody could touch until he was done with his presidency, and he refused. And now here are the things that we're seeing. And why this drone thing pisses me off is because I have a DJI drone. And for most of us out here who fly drones or own drones, for years, DJI has been the staple of drones in the US. And the reason why is because back when drones first came out, American companies felt like it wasn't something that Americans were going to jump aboard on. They felt like it was something that Americans weren't going to grasp or have fun with or grow. And guess what? They were sorely wrong. The drone community blew up for photographers and filmmakers and things of that sort. Blew up to the point where DJI pretty much monopolized the U.S. business of drones. And there really was no room for any other company to come in here and challenge them because they had locked it down. They locked it down. They've got all different types of drones out there for everybody's needs and purposes. Trump gets into office. Last year, they started this whole false narrative scare tactic that DJI was stealing your info and all this stuff. And it's like, well, first of all, if you fly a drone, they're not stealing much because the FAA aviation, they monitor everything. So you have to put all your shit in anyway in order to fly a drone when you create the account. Because every time my drone takes off and I fly it, it's recorded. It goes to the FAA. If I do something wrong, they can come right back to me. They can trace it back, the flight pattern, all that stuff. There are certain areas that I take my drone to, and it's considered a blue zone or a red zone. Blue zone, if I have my 107, I can fly it. Red zone, strictly off limits, like near airports or by airports. Can't fly it. It won't even take off. It won't even allow me to take off. It shuts it right down. So this whole thing about this is wild. So here's the thing now. So Trump comes in his second term, and he starts this whole false narrative scare tactic about DJI. And what do? They ban DJI's drones from coming into this country. So you have just killed... Chris, sometimes I love my viewers. I love my viewers when they pay attention to the things that I do. Because there's a lot of people out here who come on my page and come on my show, and they come on and I tell people, hey, my show is, the things I post on Facebook is an extension of the show. So lots of times I'll see people come at me and I'll be like, yo, I talked about this weeks ago. I've already explained this weeks ago. I already talked about this. The show isn't really about, it's about the extension of the show and things that happen part of the show and things that I share with you that I want to share. And for all y'all who just saw Chris Gagney, who posted about what does the FAA think of the tree. If you've been following me, a good friend of mine that I grew up with, his mom passed away, Kathy Caldwell. Rest in peace. We called her Ma. She passed away. And I went up to Vermont as my buddy Jason was telling me that his mom wasn't going to make it, and she actually passed away. The day I got there, she passed away just before I got there. Hospice took the body out the house, and it was a funny day because, she's gone, and I'm like, well, I brought the drone because I'm in Vermont. I could get some good footage. I could get some crazy footage. And I'm like, we're up here in the mountains, way up in Vermont. We were only 10 miles from the Canadian border, so the trees are crazy. And you can see the video. I actually posted the video from the drone, and it was my own fault. It was my own stupidity. I've been flying a drone. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that. I've been flying a drone for, I don't know, about 4 years now. But I upgraded to a bigger drone. And, I was messing around. I got it up nice and high. Oh, I had it high. If you go and watch the video, it's up there. I had it up high. And I'm like, okay, let me try this. And I came back to the house and come down into the trees. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be a good shot. Let me go back up high. And then I'll bring it down fast and come through the trees. And yes, drones do have what they call is obstruction. So if you're near something, it's going to blink or beep. And then if it's fast enough, it will avoid it. It will avoid the obstacle and go around it. But if you're going too fast and not paying attention, things can happen. And this is what happened. I come over the trees. I come over, get the high shot. I go to come down over the trees. And my DJI drone has prop guards to protect the props. Well, it was going over, and the back prop guards caught the tips of the tree branch, and it was just like bang, bang. And it was stuck in the tree, way up, about 110 feet up. So thank you to my godson, LJ. We rented a chainsaw, and we decided that thank you, Dan, that his house needs some firewood. So we cut the tree down for firewood, and we were able to get the drone out from the tree. And I would be an asshole if I didn't mention that we had to rock salt the porch. And that's an inside joke for if you know about the rock salt. So but that's Chris Gagney's mention of the drone and the FAA. But yeah, actually that would be in there. That's when my flight stopped, because it tracks, it logs. So that would be in my flight log from the FAA. So funny stuff. Also, insight to Elijah Khamenei. He is the new supreme leader. And the reason why I want to mention this is because, when his dad was killed, everybody, all the MAGA peeps were on the pages talking about the people are dancing in the streets. They're happy. Trump is the best and all this crap. And I'm like, they're always happy. They were happy in Kuwait. They were happy in Iraq. They were happy in Saudi Arabia. They were happy in Venezuela. They're always going to be happy. But give it a week or so. Give it some time. So the same exact shit that happened in Venezuela just happened in Iran, people. You create this vacuum. You take out the supposed leaders who were the problems. Yet you allow the same exact type person, if not worse, to take over that seat. Khamenei, who is now the new supreme leader, guess what? He's no regime change. There's no democracy about to happen in Iran. Why? Because President Trump and the Israelis killed his dad, killed his mother, and then in the biggest lie of all, President Trump claims that Iran stole 2 Tomahawk missiles and shot those 2 Tomahawk missiles into a school, killing 100 and something children and teachers, which was all a lie. So this guy is now the new supreme leader. Do you think he's coming in there and he's going to be all kumbaya? Let's make friends with the USA? No, he's not. No, he's not. That's why we just got the message right now that they're worried about terrorist cells being activated here in the U.S. Like I said, you could have 90% of the Iranian population happy and dancing in the street. That means you still have 10% out there that still hates the U.S. and wants death to the U.S. And that 10% of Iranians is just as dangerous as that 90% because Iranians fight a different war. You can blow up ships and sink ships and shoot drones. Iranians are different, bro. They like to snatch people up in places that you didn't think they'd be snatched up, and then they put them on video and then they behead them. That's their way of war. So think about it. This guy, he's no different, if not worse. And I hope everybody saw the celebration in the streets that he was picked, because there was an awful lot of people out there celebrating that he was picked. So again, stop it. You all be doing the most.
Sit down.
Sit down. Also in the Trump troubles, wow, how funny is this? The U.S. has just approved to give $151.8 million of weapons in sale to Israel. Like Israel doesn't have their own weapons? Israel's got a ton of money. Why are we sending Israel weapons? And MAGA's for it. You didn't want to give no money to Ukraine to fight Russia. But we're going to give Israel, who has the funds and capabilities, $151 billion to $1 million? Stop it. And then Jesse Jackson's son puts Democrats on blast. Obama, Biden, Harris, Clinton. Puts them on blast. And he had every right to. Because these guys, these Democrats got up there at his dad's funeral and they made it about Trump. They took this moment to make it about Trump. And I agree with him. You're here at my dad's funeral. I feel you. I got you. But this isn't the place. My dad's funeral is not the place. It would have been better to talk about the type of person Jesse was and what he fought for and what he stood for, where people can think and link it to what's going on in this country right now. You didn't have to get up there and just be spewing hate and talking trash about Trump. That's trashy. That was wrong. And for me, I feel like that's part of the reason why Jasmine Crockett lost her race against James Tallarico. Instead of keeping it 100, instead of keeping it clean and professional, she did the whole Dave Chappelle skit thing when keeping it real goes wrong. And that's what cost Jasmine Crockett. There were things that happened towards the end that she was wrong about. So again, I wasn't happy with the Democrats doing what they did. So, and let's see what else. And I think that's it. That's it. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show. These are the outro banner that I got to get in here. And thank everybody for helping out with the show. Good show tonight. I got to thank Tanaijsa, Brutus. Those are the shows I produce. The Booth you're watching. Oscar Mac Radio on Thursday night. Drafting the Circus tomorrow night. Turnbuckles and Spilt Liquor tonight, 9:30. Ooh, what's going on here? Hold on, people. My banners are not coming up, so let's do some little production fix on the fly here for everybody. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Bam. Bam. Food Truck Festival, March 21st, Saturday at the Brockton Rock Stadium, 12 to 5 p.m. Rabies and Microchip Clinic. I'm going to be taking Jupy to get her rabies vaccine. That takes place March 22nd on Sunday at the APCSM. Brockton Baseball, got to sign up. It's time to play Little League already. Jesus. I think first week of April is when they kick off. Also, April 25th is the Pet CPR First Aid class. That's at the Animal Protection Center in southeastern Massachusetts. That's the same place with the microchips. And then Saturday, May 30th, Method Man, Red Man, The Locks, State Property, Beanie Siegel, Freeway, Young Guns, Petey Crank, DJ Chubby Chub, and then the Bat Buses are free till June of 2026. Take advantage of it. Jeremiah and the United Austria World Games. Scan the code. Let's get him there. And then Family Fun with Music for families with 0 to 6-year-old kids. Thursdays, June until June 25th. Save the date. Boston Brothers' 3rd annual motorcycle car ride takes place July 25th. And then I got to get Mario Lamar on to talk about the Magic Moment Trip, unforgettable family adventure. Going to try to send a family to Disney. And then that's it. That's about it. We are at 8:25. Went a little bit over because I had a good guess. Again, check out the movie No Strings. I got to thank her for coming on the show. No Strings on Amazon Prime. And like she said, in a couple of weeks or so, it will be on Tubi. But it was a great movie. Great movie. Good stuff. I got to get ready to get out of here. We've got Turnbuckles and Spilt Liquor at 9:30. We've got Drafting the Circuits tomorrow at 8. And then we are just weeks away from WrestleMania. And then, hey, I got a guest next week. James Preston Rogers, who is the serial killer in this new film, Psycho Killer. He is the satanic killer in this film. So he will be on this show next week. And I'm actually going to go check this movie out before he comes on the show and hangs out with us. It's going to be great stuff. But excuse me. But other than that, wow. Other than that, I got to say, get ready for Turnbuckle and Spilt Liquor Podcast. But SpongeBob, do me a favor. Take us home.
See you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine, but your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I made it, this don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip, I don't need that shit, cause I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com. WHOOBAZOO.com.